My name is Maryam Laushi, and today on TheAmbaImprint we're hanging out with Japheth Omojuwa. Hi, can you tell us about yourself?
My name is Japheth Joshua Omojuwa. I am a Nigerian, a proud one, very proud one. I also like to see myself as an African because I've increasingly been on different platforms representing the continent. I blog. I write columns for 4 national media platforms. I'm a public speaker. I'm in love with Damilola. Yeah, for now, that's what Omojuwa is, or who he is.
So, one of the most noticeable things about you is your intensity. And a better word for it is passion. So, where does that passion and intensity come from?
Intensity. I think passion is natural. The passion for whatever, for anything, whether for life or for your business or for who you love or for whatever it is. You don't learn passion. Passion, you're born with passion. People are passionate about something or they are not passionate about it. They could maybe now get inspired to be passionate about something they were not passionate about, but more often than not, it's a natural thing. So I would think that I was born to be like this.
So you say that you're in love with Damilola?
That's my fiancée. She's based in Lagos. Unfortunately, we hardly see because I'm always on the road traveling. But of course, some of the things I do are driven by the fact that I know that she's there and I love her so much. And I've also tried to keep our love outside of the media since the whole proposal stuff got into the media. I've tried to make sure that we don't get into the media again because I want to keep that part of me personal and private to myself.
Why are you so passionate about Nigeria?
Why am I passionate about Nigeria? I see Nigeria, I experience Nigeria every day. Even on days when I'm not in Nigeria, Nigeria gets to you. Something just happens and Nigeria gets to you. Probably at the airport in some other country, you're looking at the news, scrolling, and you're seeing Boko Haram has bombed a particular school again, or the Chibok girls have not been seen, or even when you're in Nigeria, you're seeing people of grandmother age. If you cannot be passionate about making sure this country works with this sort of experiences, and what are you going to be passionate about? So Nigeria gets to you. Nigeria calls out for your passion. Nigeria calls out for your interest and patriotism.
Okay, so out of all the problems that you feel like we have in Nigeria, which one are you the most passionate about? Which one do you feel like you need to speak about the most?
I think the most obvious one would be leadership, because everything rises and falls and centers around leadership. If leadership works, virtually every other thing would work. If leadership works, corruption would not be an issue. So I would think leadership would be the most critical thing.
Speaking of leadership, do you ever plan to run for office in Nigeria?
Plan is a big word because, so I have my 5-year life plan right now. Running for office is not one of them. Would I be available to serve in official capacity, maybe in government someday? I think if I said no to that, a lot of people would say it's lying. And so that's the truth. I'd definitely be available someday. But right now, I'm looking to build a profile on the continent. I'm looking to build a global clout around being a voice from the continent, around being a voice for young people, a voice for even women when it comes to certain issues, around being a voice for governance and liberty and free market on the continent. When we're done with that and we have a bit of resources and people we can call on in the future, then maybe, why not? But for now, it's not part of my plan.
But if you have ever been in a place where you are abused and cursed every single day for years, you'd know silence is a tough choice. This is a statement you made referring to all the negativity that you are constantly bombarded with. So how do you deal with that?
How? It's always difficult to even... So there's a right answer and there's an answer that is the reality. The right answer is to ignore these things and not reply them. But the truth of the matter is you can only ignore them for so long. I was referring to an issue that happened a couple of days ago. So I'm used to ignoring these things. I'm used to moving along, just focusing on what the real issues are. But because I'm human, even if I was a robot, sometimes the programmed robot fails. And sometimes, despite knowing that this is the right thing to do, just ignore them. Sometimes I get to respond, and I get to respond like a normal person. I get to throw my own tantrums. But I always try to make sure that I'm not fashioned, or my personality is not fashioned with respect to what I respond to, but rather what I personally do myself. I'm a proactive person, so I rather choose to be proactive rather than be reactive to these things.
You were once arrested during a protest. Can you tell us what happened during that period and your state of mind?
So we were arrested for protesting the NIS exam, where several young Nigerians died, or should I say were killed, because they were interested in joining the Nigerian Immigration Service. So after the arrest, we were getting thrown between the civil defense, the police, and the SSS. But I just think that that's a normal stuff. If you are ready to go out there to protest against the government or against some issue, you should also be ready to be arrested. And the fact that we were not kept overnight is also credit to a lot of young people that kept making loads of noise, and our supporters from all over the place who did not allow the system or the government to rest until they let us out about 6 hours after.
So you're often considered like a troublemaker. One example is Arik ArikWhereIsMyIpad. That made like a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
So do you consider yourself a troublemaker in that sense?
If you live in a country like Nigeria and you're not a troublemaker, then you become the grass that everybody matches on. You go to places where you pay for a service, people don't want to give you the right service. You go to government offices where you expect them to treat you with some courtesy. People treat you like you don't pay taxes, or like you're not part of the system. So if making trouble means demanding for what is right, if making trouble means expecting the society to live to the essence of what the society should be, if making trouble means doing the right thing and asking for others to do the right thing, then I'd consider myself a troublemaker. And I think that in this sense, being a troublemaker is not a bad thing. I think that when it comes to Nigerians and Nigeria, I think the most important thing is to understand that we need to demand better. We need to demand more of our leaders. The reason why we've suffered from bad leadership and mediocre leadership over the years is because we really do not expect anything from these guys. They do anything, we move along, we feel like that's normal. But until we stamp down and say, no, this cannot happen, or we say, yes, this is what must happen, we'll continue to get this kind of leaders I've been getting. And I want to believe that from this year, henceforth, we'll get the right leaders, because now, we have the opportunity to elect the right people. And I personally would not expect that from May 29 of this year, people will come and start complaining about their leaders, because you have your own hands now, you have your PVC, you'll be choosing them. And then even if you choose the right leader, you have a responsibility to go out there to make sure that that right leader does the right thing at all times.
That brings us to the end of another interview on the Amba Imprint with Japheth Omojuwa. Special thanks to him for coming on this edition of the Amba Imprint.
Hey, I'm Japheth Omojuwa. You're watching the Amba Imprint. Keep watching.